Your brain has already decided to purchase an item long before your conscious mind registers its existence on a store shelf. This silent hijack is not a choice. It is a neurological reflex engineered by corporate specialists who know how to bypass your logic entirely. Every time you pull out your credit card with that familiar feeling of sudden, urgent desire, you are executing a post-hypnotic suggestion. You believe you are in control, but your wallet belongs to the architects of your subconscious. This invisible control mechanism is known as commercial hypnosis, an array of deep-seated psychological tactics designed to strip away your analytical defenses. By understanding how brands manipulate your brain, you will finally see the invisible threads pulling your finances. Failing to recognize these patterns means you will continue to spend your hard-earned wealth on artificial desires designed by strangers. To understand how deep this manipulation goes, we must look at how easily the human mind is primed by its environment. Psychologists define priming as a phenomenon where exposure to one stimulus influences a response to a subsequent stimulus without conscious guidance. In 1999, researchers Adrian North, David Hargreaves, and Jennifer McKendrick conducted a landmark study in a British supermarket. Over a period of 2 weeks, they alternated the background music playing in the wine section between traditional French accordion music and German brass band music. The results were staggering. On days when French music played, 77% of the wine purchased was French. When the music switched to German tunes, the vast majority of consumers bought German wine. Here is the most unsettling part of that research. When the shoppers were interviewed after their purchases, the vast majority denied that the music had any influence on their choice. They insisted they made a conscious, rational decision based on taste, price, or label design. They constructed elaborate, logical justifications for a choice that had actually been dictated by a simple acoustic frequency. This is the essence of commercial hypnosis. The manipulator plants a seed in your subconscious, and your conscious mind later claims ownership of the plant that grows from it. You are being farmed. This priming operates because your brain is constantly trying to conserve energy. Under cognitive load, your mind defaults to System 1 thinking, which is fast, instinctive, and completely emotional. Brands spend billions of dollars to ensure their stimuli speak directly to this primitive system, ensuring your analytical System 2 thinking never wakes up to analyze the transaction. They do this by establishing psychological anchors, linking their products with deep, unfulfilled emotional states like belonging, safety, or status. Now, think about how this mechanism operates in your daily life, completely undetected. You walk into a high-end electronics store or a luxury boutique. The air is cool, the lighting is dimmed to mimic a museum, and there is a distinct, barely noticeable scent of cedarwood and amber. You think this is just pleasant interior design. In reality, it is a highly calibrated sensory trap. In 2004, neuroscientist Red Montague used functional magnetic resonance imaging to study the brains of consumers during taste tests. When tasting unlabeled beverages, the reward centers of the subject's brains lit up based on the actual chemical sweetness of the liquid. But when the researchers showed the subjects the brand logos before they drank, something extraordinary happened. The brain activity instantly shifted. The sensory reward centers became quiet, and the medial prefrontal cortex, the area associated with self-image and social memory, lit up like a Christmas tree. The brand name physically overrode the sensory organs. The subjects did not taste the liquid, they tasted the brand identity. This is the peak of commercial hypnosis. The product itself is irrelevant. You are not buying a physical object. You are buying a customized piece of an identity to fill a quiet void in your psyche. Think about the last time you bought something to cure a bad mood, only to feel empty an hour later. The manipulator knows that your self-image is fragile. By using subtle framing techniques, They present their product as the missing piece of your puzzle. Look at the automotive industry. They do not sell you steel, rubber, and glass. They sell you the concept of freedom, power, and masculine protection. When a car commercial shows a vehicle speeding through a deserted, rugged mountain pass under a stormy sky, it is priming your subconscious to link that machine with absolute autonomy. When you sit in that vehicle on a congested city street during rush hour, your brain recalls that anchored feeling of freedom. You willingly sign away years of your future labor in car payments, not for the transport, but for the illusion of control. This is not retail therapy. It is a hostile takeover of your neurochemistry. Every detail of modern consumer goods is engineered to maintain this hypnotic state. The sound of a luxury car door closing is not natural. It is tuned by acoustic engineers using dampening materials to create a specific low-frequency thud that your brain subconsciously associates with safety and wealth. The crunch of a potato chip is mathematically designed to hit a specific decibel level that tricks your brain into perceiving freshness, overriding the stale reality of processed starch. Even the physical weight of a perfume bottle or a smartphone is artificially increased with internal metal plates because your primeval mind equates mass with value. You are constantly reacting to sensory illusions designed to separate you from your money. How do you break the trance? How do you regain control of your wallet and your mind? To defend against this pervasive manipulation, you must install 3 psychological firewalls. First, you must master the linguistic reframe. Whenever you see a price tag or a promotion, your brain is immediately framed by the anchor price. If an item is marked down from $100 to $70, the marketer wants you to focus on the $30 saved. This is a classic anchoring trap. To neutralize this, you must instantly translate the transaction into your life energy. Calculate your actual hourly wage after taxes, expenses, and commute time. If you make $20 an hour, that $70 item does not cost $70, and it does not save you $30. It costs 3.5 hours of your finite human life. Ask yourself, is this object worth 3.5 hours of my labor? This simple shift forces your slow, analytical brain to wake up and dismantle the emotional anchor. Second, you must recognize the sensory trigger. Pay close attention to your physiological state when you enter a commercial environment. Do you suddenly feel a wave of warmth, excitement, or a subtle rush of adrenaline? This is the physical onset of the hypnotic state. When you feel this shift, you must implement the 72-hour quarantine rule. Never purchase a non-essential item the moment you discover it. Physically leave the environment, go home, sleep, and allow the chemical priming to wash out of your synapses. If the desire is still just as intense after 72 hours, only then can you make a conscious decision to buy. You will find that, in 90% of cases, the desire completely vanishes once you are out of the engineered sensory zone. Third, you must audit the lifestyle promises. When you find yourself drawn to a product, ask a very specific question. What emotion am I expecting this purchase to buy? If you are looking at a sleek new watch, are you buying a timekeeping tool, or are you trying to buy the feeling of being respected and organized? If you are looking at expensive athletic gear, are you buying fabric, or are you trying to buy the discipline of an elite athlete? By naming the hidden emotional promise, you expose the manipulator's hand. Once you see the hook, it loses its power to pull you. Once you integrate these defense mechanisms, a profound shift occurs in how you navigate the modern world. You will no longer walk through shopping centers or browse digital marketplaces as a passive target. You will see the physical space as a battlefield of psychological traps. The bright colors, the strategic layout, the urgent countdown timers on websites, the scent diffusers, the gentle acoustic rhythms, they all lose their magical luster. You will look at others and see how they are constantly being pulled by these invisible puppet strings. You will watch them buy status symbols they cannot afford, to impress people they do not like, using money they have not yet earned. You will realize that true wealth is not the accumulation of these engineered objects, but the absolute sovereignty over your own desires. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Guard it with relentless vigilance, or someone else will write the script for how you spend your life. The architecture of influence runs far deeper than just your spending habits. The very thoughts you believe are your own, the social dynamics you navigate daily, and the deep-seated fears that keep you awake at night are being systematically shaped by forces you have yet to identify. There is an even more potent form of psychological conditioning operating in the shadows of your daily interactions, one that governs not just what you buy, but who you believe you are. We will expose that hidden mechanism next.